All right, my friends. So today we're at Laverne Skate Park. It's a very old school park where it definitely doesn't look like any of the modern plazas that LA skaters are spoiled with, or just new indoor parks that everyone sees, you know, like a Woodward. Actually, it's not new, but it's very maintained and, you know, state of the art, if you will. So I'm making this video to share with everyone a perspective that I have when I'm limited to certain obstacles or certain skate parks. For example, when I was up in Chico, up north, before it was renovated or added onto, it was very, let's just say, underwhelming, right? It didn't have it didn't have any resemblance to the skate parks I grew up skating, like a Hollenbach Skate Plaza, Hazard Skate Plaza, or even a Belvedere Skate Plaza that were not new, but they were definitely more modern compared to, you know, something like this, which I'm sure was built like in the 90s, 80s, 90s. I could be wrong, maybe 2000s. But point is, you know, if you're feeling limited with your own environment in the sense of a skate park because it doesn't have the obstacles you see pro skaters skating in competitions, then you gotta look at it as an opportunity to get creative and create your own obstacles and make the most of the obstacles there. For example, if I'm trying to progress to any level, and even just be skating like my favorite skaters, I have to figure out what I can create so that I can improve, right? Instead of just being okay with what's given. So for example, I like to when I was growing up, I saw a lot of video parts of Paul Rodriguez, Ryan Sheckler, Andrew Reynolds, and in a lot of their video parts, they skated stairs. So I want to you guys to come closer a bit. Notice, come closer. I want to get away from the street, so let's come closer. All the way. We can walk faster, that'll be awesome. Okay, so check out how there's no stairs inside. If you want to take a look around, no stairs, right? But there are ledges and there are these quarter pipes, and there's plenty of space around, as you can see, so that we can go get some speed and go over the quarter pipes. If you look around too, there's plenty of other opportunities to use the banks and the quarter pipes as a gap. And so that's what I mean. That's very level 1 version of being creative with what you have. And so once you start to make the most of that, then you can even challenge yourself with something a bit higher, something that you wouldn't really think is meant to be skated in that way, right? So we see this ledge right here. This ledge, many can say, is used to go from the quarter to the ledge, or even go over this flat part into the pyramid that's on the other side. So check it out. So on the other side, we can see a pyramid. And so this obstacle we can all agree that it's designed to be skated from the pyramid to the ledge. Now, this is where we get creative. We see an impact, we see a drop, and I would ask myself, oh damn, what if I can ollie? What if I can skate that as a drop or a gap, and just make the most of what that is going to teach me? So what this teaches me by default is how to stabilize and go straight, because it's a narrow path, right? Not only am I exposing myself to an obstacle that I can practice jumping off or doing gaps, getting better at skating impact, but it's also helping me stabilize myself, right? Because I'm limited in how much run up I have. Not, forget the fact that you need no run up, but I'm limited in the narrow space and how much run up I have, and also in how much roll away space I got. So look, check it out. You only got, from when you land, right, like a couple feet before you start going up the quarter. And it's possible that you might land, if you go fast enough, land here and fall into the quarter. So not only is it going to be challenging because of the narrow path, but because of how little roll-away space you got. Now, you can roll away to the right as a regular skater or to the left, but for the most part, these challenges you're gonna find skating or being creative with what you have is going to benefit you as a skateboarder, because as you go out into street spots or different parks, you begin to you have a skill set that not very many people have, solely because this obstacle is unique to the skate park. And so this is an example of many ways you can go about making the most of your situation, so that you're not limited in your progression, but instead you have an abundant approach to progress in any manner you may have. Now, what if you're at a park with no drops, right? Then maybe you can just challenge yourself by going faster off the little ledges you have, or popping up the ledges you have. Regardless, you have to make sure you're using most of what you got. Maybe you create gaps, maybe you bring outside obstacles, have boards, skate over the boards. Be resourceful, right? Here, for example, an obstacle that wouldn't really be skated or may be avoided by many skaters is this ledge right here, because it's kind of high. And so if you find yourself avoiding obstacles because it seems a bit too challenging and you're not too sure how to approach it, just make sure it's in your peripheral where eventually you can get to it, and make your way little by little up there. So this might not be an obstacle you can skate when you first get to the park, but it's an obstacle that you eventually want to skate. So begin to orient your skating and your goals around having more pop. So for example, at the moment I can only do like a no slide and a crook here. Right? No slide, crook, 50 are the three tricks that I feel like I can definitely do. Now, if I want to get to a trick like a back tail, back Smith, then just being exposed to this height of a ledge and practicing olling on, or at least thinking about it, right? Feeling how I'm reacting to the challenge is a big win, because it's not only about landing the tricks you want to land, it's about what lessons you're learning as you make your way to that goal, right? Or to that trick you want to land. So for instance, I want a backsmith, but in the process of backsmithing, what I can do on the way there is just improve my pop and the consistency and my ability to get on that ledge so much more effortless, right? Because eventually, after doing ollies onto this over and over, doing a backsmith on this ledge is going to feel so much more effortless, because it's not the pop I need to worry about, it's just the technique, right? So I'm gonna see how comfortable I feel olling onto this. Okay, so that was actually not too difficult. So that shows me that I'm a bit more prepared than I thought to do a backsmith on this ledge. Today, for the sake of the video, I'm not gonna do it. Maybe next time I visit this park, I will. But what I'm trying to get at is, you don't want to confine yourself to limitations, and that includes tricks, that includes the way you approach skating, the skate park you have. And this is mostly if you're someone who doesn't really skate other skate parks but what they have, you know what I mean? A lot of us feel discouraged, and like we're at a big disadvantage, but that's just simply a perspective that only makes yourself feel like a victim, instead of feeling, in a sense, capable, competent, so that you can progress at progress to whatever level you want to, right? Whether that's just learning a kickflip, ollie off, ollie onto a ledge, or going pro, whatever it may be. You don't want to have this limited and victim mindset, but instead you want to have an abundant perspective on your approach to skateboarding, what you have, your environment, and also a feeling that you're competent to do that. And so just some practices you can do is make ledges something where you can skate over it, right? Ledges are meant to grind most of the time or slide. Skate over it. Make your obstacles. So for example, this is an obstacle I'm thinking of right now, right? Instead of skating this obstacle like a ledge to Manny or a manual pad or Manny to ledge, I'm gonna make an obstacle going over the ledge the opposite way. Let me go over that. Come on. Right? And so not only am I skating a different obstacle, but I'm giving I'm building a skill that I didn't even know can be built in this way, right? I'm building explosiveness as I set up for the trick. I'm building the ability to stabilize throughout uneven run up, right? It goes up. I'm building those quick, that quick reaction as I set up and then I get ready to pop over. I'm building pop, and I'm building the ability to absorb impact after us, after gapping a ledge. So you gotta be open to this, right? If you're not open to looking for your own obstacles or for your own way to flow around the park, then you're just going to be feeding into that victim state, and also just increasing the chances of you getting bored, right? There's even on flat ground, imagine on flat ground there's an unlimited amount of tricks you can try. So imagine how much that is added onto once you have something as small as a curb, right? So here there's plenty of stuff to make most of, right? And there's always room for improvement. So if you're someone who likes skating manis, but this is all you got, then make a manual pad out of other obstacles that you might not have, right? Look at someone like Daewon Song. He's for those of you who don't know him, he's someone who can manual down transition, and he does grinds and then two manuals. So you think that came from only skating manual pads? No, it came from actually being creative and approaching an obstacle and making it his own way, and skating it his own way, right? So you got to find ways to skate obstacles that you wouldn't usually, and skate them so that you create your own way of your own approach in a sense. So I'm gonna land this. Alright, that actually felt very like not so comfortable. And so from then on, it's not just like you stop because you've skated the obstacle. You can try kickflip, you can try back 180, you can try front 180, I can do a nose bonk, I can do right? I can do so much. Grind to Manny to pop off. There's just unlimited ways to skateboard, and that's what I'm getting at. The possibilities are abundant no matter what environment you're given, what skate park you're given. So there's nothing wrong with this park, but there are many who will say this park sucks, right? But it's because they're comparing it to a El Sereno, to a Woodward, to a California training facility, to a Level Up, whatever it may be, they're comparing. So look for ways to be creative, not ways to compare your situation to another one. Having said that, if you're interested in coaching or lessons, hit me up at profe.carlos or let me know in the comments. Profe.carlos, Profe. carlos, and also there's lives almost every day. And so if you're in you want to ask more questions or just more time to kind of go back and forth with some of the things I've mentioned, or just some questions you might have outside, and you're new to the channel, that's a great opportunity for us to connect and go back and forth. Memberships are soon going to be active, and so look out for that as well. If if you live somewhere outside of California, and we can still make lessons or coaching possible through that as well. Having said that, I hope you have a great day and make the most of your skate park or your whatever you got to skateboard. Peace out.